Hello guys, welcome back to our channel, The Collector's Hub. In the last episode, Estelle, the protagonist of this game, wished to explore and record the things she see before the end of a season. Estelle journey out from the Cora village and begin her journey. If you like this series, and would like us to create more video like this, give this video a like and subscribe to our channel, thank you.
Let's set the scene for the listener. Whoever that might be. This is the elder speaking. We're sitting in the plaza, saying goodbye to a dear soul. We're here to see if there's anything useful in my mind that could help you on your trip. A century's worth of memories, dreams, fantasies, visions. Like a big, old, haunted library. When I die, this library will burn down. But which book should we check out first? I don't have all the answers, but I do feel the story of my life could help you understand what kind of world is out there. It's okay not to understand everything right away. The moment may pass before you've gotten a firm hold on it. But as long as you're there to witness it, to take it down in your journal, you and others to come will someday take the time to make sense of it all. Francis Cale, if you must know. You can call me Frank, or Elder, or the Elder, or Elder Frank. You know, whatever. I don't care. I was born on the ocean. My mother and father worked on a cruise ship, the short-lived but glorious watery republics, floating cities. Most won their independence by the time I was born. How can I describe them? They were a jewel of the golden season. Pleasure boats with a radical political program. How the golden age was a time of flags, logos, mottos, mastheads. My mom taught me to read them. She was a ship's philosopher. My dad was a recycling engineer. Recycling on the ship was a matter of life and death. We had to get the most out of every object and watt of energy. My grandparents played with the past. They changed it like we change our wardrobe. So it was a different answer every time. But they often said we were exiles of some kind. Exiled royalty from a secret lineage, blood that glows in the dark. Or we were exiled from the mouth of some great leviathan. When they were older, they just said, "We're from here. We're from right now." I loved the way the ship would tilt and roll with the waves, especially as I fell asleep. It was so comforting. Picture me as a kid in bed, feeling the swaying of the ship. It was like being rocked to sleep as a baby. I loved exploring the ship too, wandering through the suites, the swimming pool, the game rooms, and there were 2 dance halls. A large, elegant one and another one in the basement. A lot of my firsts were down there. My first dance, my first kiss, and so forth. Our ship was taken over in the early days of the war. That was the end of the watery republics. I heard the dance hall in the basement became a weapons cache. It took me half my life to say goodbye to the world I knew in my youth. Imagine me and my parents and everyone I knew being escorted off the ship by a company of soldiers. And I'm thinking, I hope they don't make a mess of my room. I was embarrassed by the younger kids who were crying their eyes out, but they knew, I guess. Even as things got bad, I couldn't imagine the changes were permanent. It's easy now to look back and say the internationalism of the golden season was violently breaking down. You can be naive about all kinds of things, but not war. Most of my life has been spent in isolated communities, and the one moment I was in the wild world, you couldn't pick a more chaotic time. And we had been warned this season was going to end. Oh, but we didn't understand the warning. You see, one night, along a coastline, we saw beautiful lights shimmering above the water. Later, we found out this was an ancient warning system. It hadn't been used in so long, we didn't know what it meant. We just thought, well, ain't that pretty? We tried to stick together and camped out on the coast of the prismatic grounds. A kingdom of art and science. They got rich during the golden season. Everything that made them beloved before the wealth came. Passionate, uncompromising, self-obsessed. Made them unbearable once they had power. Artists make terrible kings. Are you sure you want me to keep going? The story gets darker from here on. Okay, so conditions in the camp were getting worse. My mom got lost in thought for long periods of time. She'd be completely still for hours, days even. We realized she caught, well, now we call it time misperception disorder. It's when you lose your ability to tell how much time is passing. A minute can feel like an hour. A day can pass in 10 seconds. We don't know exactly. Our consciousness is delicate. There are minerals and sounds that can adjust it. Dr. Fumio's greatest fear was that someone would use this as a weapon. We heard about a traveling doctor who could cure these kinds of diseases. I decided to go find him. I found out his name was Dr. Fumio, and he traveled with his son Lucio. People talked about him like he was a god. I described my mom's condition to Dr. Fumio. He said there was no cure yet, but there was a village high in the mountains. He thought it was high enough he'd have a better chance at treatment. Lower places are more dangerous. Valleys are the worst. He invited me to join them in going to the village, but I wanted to go back and get my parents and bring them with me. I packed my things and got ready to leave the next morning. That night, my mom came to me in a dream. She was standing in a field of flowers. I'd grown since I last saw her. We were the same height. She pressed a finger hard into my palm. She taught me well. I knew the meaning of the gesture. I knew no matter what I did, I'd never see my parents again. In the morning, I told Dr. Fumio I would follow him to Karo village. The next few weeks were very physically tiring, hiking, climbing. And when we found the village, building, planting, cleaning, Fumio brought sick people from all over the world, and they got better. The treatments worked. Everyone was healing. So why couldn't I? One day, we got word the war was over. We never found out how it ended. It was like peace just swept over the earth in a split second. There was a party in the plaza to celebrate the end of the war, but I couldn't bring myself to go. Yes, it was over, but it had taken my home, my family. That night, as I was falling asleep, I felt the bed tilt and sway gently, as if it was being tossed on the waves of the ocean, as if I was back in my bedroom on the ship, as if I was back in my mother's arms, being rocked gently to sleep. I knew I was finally home, and nothing could hurt me.
I imagined coming upon a place as hidden and singular as my own village. Eventually, I found myself circling a valley, looking for a way in. This valley is asking people for a visit. I should oblige it. We never used this kind of technology in my village. Nobody trusted it. A skeletal version of the kind of billboard I saw earlier. Must be a car, but it looks weird. I haven't seen one like this in my books.
Oh. The valley. One second.
The elder said that people were exhausted by symbols after the war. But here are a few hanging.
Is that a strotophob? What are they called? What is it? I love old gear like that. It's getting more and more rare. I had a camera, but it broke. Not that interesting of a story, I guess. What are you doing here? The whole thing, huh? You're young. You got time. What kind of stuff are you recording? Oh yeah, civilization they call it. The valley would be a good place to use those tools. Too bad it's closed down. Let me finish up here, huh?
What will happen when we do as instructed and gather around this fake person?
Hey. This was like a second home for a while. That was fun earlier when you showed up. And I was carrying the cardboard man. You were like, who are these guys? I've been pretty bored here. You know, the valley's gonna be flooded soon. That's why nobody can go in there. The dam is falling apart. It's too old. There's nobody left who knows how to repair it. We're taking it down so we'll know when it'll collapse. It gives us time to evacuate everyone. Greyhounds. We're a community organization. We do all kinds of fun stuff. Health clinics, mine sweeping, daycare, evacuations, weddings. We're new. It was supposed to be because we're helpful yet neutral. We took a vote and decided to change the name, though. We want something more friendly sounding. I'm excited to find out what it will be. We're trying to get new things going. But it's hard. The past really has a tight grip on people. Doesn't feel like a fair fight. So we're trying to, well, anyway. It's funny. I stood guard here for a week. And I've only seen greyhounds like myself. And valley people on their way out. But now I see you, and you're like a new element or something. I've never met anyone doing what you're doing. And we greyhounds gotta support new things. So, I'm not supposed to let anyone in. How can I? Gee, I think you should go down into the valley and take a look. Gonna try something here. Dang it. I was trying to wink. Well, you get the idea. Go on and put that old gear to use. You can take my map of the valley, too. I don't need it anymore. I'll be down to pick everyone up around midnight. See you then.
I met a greyhound. He let me into the valley. I think he wanted me to record what the greyhounds were up to. And he gave me a map. The assembly point seemed like a good place to start. I wonder what he expects me to discover in the valley. This looks ancient. It must have been hard to carve a pattern like that into a rock. I'm not the first to do this, just the first in a long time. I'll think about what kind of visitor I want to be. It seems like I'll have to wait for night to enter the shrine. The elder warned me about valleys. She said they were dangerous. I feel a dulcet tension in the air. I enter to see the moment between seasons. I am probably the last person that will ever be welcomed here by this sign. The elder told me there's very little information about the years before 500. All above will remain, all below will wash away. I have wondered about the lives beneath unkept graves. I wonder what the flowers have to say. It must have been important to have such an elaborate solitary tomb.
God of sleep, I've been gathering harpic, and I've been gathering courage. If my big prayer is wrong, if it goes against divine will, please spare the people of this valley. We're so desperate for peace.
A memory told over and over again. All the rituals for the dead in my village require the body, so we couldn't perform them for my dad. But I can make my life a ritual for his memory.
I've been gathering hardwood.
You're so weak.
I heard gunshots last night.
Something frightening happened in this memory. But what was it?
The people here are so weak.
I heard gunshots last night.
That was us. What is that?
Look at the pond, the water.
What is that?
Should we run or something?
These metal animals are looking up, expectantly.
The people here are so weak.
Will the last voice to cry out in the wilderness not even be human? The artist has depicted the Greyhands as a child. They don't have faith in their capabilities, but see them as innocent? I never learned about this technology in school. Could it be emergency rations from the war? I will leave it alone. It sounds like they want to adapt their organization to the people in it, and not the other way around. There seems to be suspicion about the real condition of the dam and why it's being taken down. It's hard to imagine something new, a new way of living, but they're trying. The elder also said low places are dangerous. The city is high up like my village. Maybe it is safer. The gray hands seem to care what people think about them. The gray hands want to end this season. These snacks are so identical, as if they were mass-produced. The snacks of my life have been homespun, idiocentric even. say they're going to build the next season. How? Imagine if the man I met is the only living greyhound, and the rest are cardboard. There's a number to call for questions regarding the dam. There must be a lot of people going to the city if they need to keep track of them with cards. Greyhounds are the future in all its uncertainty, the good and the bad, the hope and fear of progress. The loneliness of this season will be left behind. A collective project is coming. Is that your name on your collar? Let's see, you are Madrigal. This machine looks powerful. It must have done the work of many people. And you are Mata. And your name is Tupet. I wonder who named you that. You are a cow and you are named Krasnahorkai. A beautiful cow named Gorp. The name of this cow is TVC15, oh my. These patterns remind me of the festival outfits in my village. I wonder if these patterns tell stories as well. Cows from all over the world came here to compete in cow stuff? The golden season seems like such a different world.
Ooh, we got a big show today.
Huge show.
Breaking news. The Greyhounds have died.
We're being reborn, baby.
And we're taking suggestions for our new name.
Live on the air suggestions from the rank and file.
You don't even need to be a Greyhound to suggest a name.
True, true.
The number to call is 0019. That is 0019. First caller, hit us with a name.
Hi, yeah. I was thinking the bricklayers.
Okay. Bricklayers.
Laying some bricks. Well, yeah, thanks for the suggestion.
We'll be taking them all afternoon, so keep them coming.
That number again is 0019. You're listening to Greyhound Radio. We are broadcasting live from Greyhound HQ.
And we're gonna take a little break.
If the Greyhounds are changing their name, you'd know them as something else. I like the tune well enough. I wonder why it appeals to our bovine brethren. What is a symbol but a word without a sound? The sound of this bell has a lot of character. This Greyhound kid just wants to be loved? and the seventh cow's name was Balto. I've never drank cow's milk, let alone some kind of frozen version. The cow is called Frenzy. This seems to be where they sewed these lovely embroideries. Compared to my village, they lived in the open here. They lived on the land itself. I hope in the future, at least some people are still living like that.
Stay where you can hear me, okay?
Thank God they have electricity down here.
Did you hear from your friend in the Watery Republic? Which one is it?
The Topaz. We can get a ride with them on the coast.
Great. And we're really just gonna leave the car behind.
That's a junker anyway.
Beautiful.
I told you 786 would be our year. I sang you that whole song about it.
They sound so free and happy, just roaming around the world. This flower has a shimmering quality. Looks like there's no one around anymore to enforce this. I wish Pate could call this hotline to talk about his heavy dream. For every working truck or bicycle, there is always a pile of broken ones, rated to scrape together just enough parts to get one working. These signs are so demanding. I can't imagine them in my village. There are a lot of these signs. They must really want to keep people out of this area. I found a dig site that is fenced off from view. What were they doing here? It feels like it was recently abandoned. They look relieved to have finished their work. This isn't the style of music I expected them to play. There's a big tree with a researcher's notebook inside it somewhere. This is the kind of brain trouble my mom warned me about. The work at the dig site has something to do with Day Zero. Memories and emotions condensed into a mineral. I wonder what this channel is for. They must have already shipped out all the Harpic they need. I wonder what's on this reel. What is Day Zero? Maybe I can find out more about it. They dug up all that Harpic in order to conduct some sort of prayer on Day Zero.
I've recreated the same setup as the prayer statues right here in my workshop. I set up a singing bowl so I can verify the pattern that will form in the water. And some Harpic, of course. Each god seems to correspond to a resonating frequency. And when this vibration acts on the harpic, we get the psychoactive response. Going to give it a try here.
I remember watching my dad make shadow puppets on the wall. Felt strange because I could see how it was done. I could see the trick of it, but it still felt kind of magical.
It worked. I do feel the more I do this, the more tired, and it feels like it takes me longer to return to the present. But now I have some control. I face the question of how this mineral affects the soil. I still have a lot of work to do. That's all for today.
A mineral that can affect the mind. It's a bit upsetting to see graves treated like this. The memories of the owner now turned into a beautiful mineral.
The necessity of day zero is not just psychological, it's ecological. Because there is a compounding effect to these minerals and their psychological effect. And we see this in TIENG Valley. There is a memory and a memory of a memory and a memory of a memory of a memory. This echo effect, this recursive nature is the problem. As this cycles through the ecosystem, it creates points of pressure where things bleed, and soil and human minds are contaminated. Some will say, what's a few daytime visions? But it is an increasing risk, an increasing danger. Left alone, the haunted quality of this season will only get worse. The necessity of day zero is also to... This particular action will neutralize this phenomenon at its source. This is not an endless cycle. We are putting an end to this psychoactive material, and we are opening up space for something new.
How do they plan to remove the haunted quality of this season?